The Argentine movie begins with us seeing an overhead view of many trees, while a car is riding between them. We eventually zoom in on the car to see a middle-aged couple inside it. The wife, Valeria, says this is a nice place. They arrive at a huge house in a secluded area. A woman exits it to greet the arrivals. She is Mercedes, whom Valeria hugs. Mercedes says the couple will have a wonderful time here. She also says the nearest house is 1,300 feet away, meaning no one will hear them. Mercedes is pleased to meet Valeria's husband, Julian. We learn he is an author whose books Mercedes claims to love. She is a big fan of the Scorpion saga, and Julian is glad she enjoyed them. She is curious about how he concocted such a sinister man in his books. She asks why he is so cruel, to which Julian answers the character had a complex childhood. The reason is that it was short. Entering the impressive house, Julian's interest becomes captured by an object on the wall. He inspects it and gets short-lived images. Soon he joins the ladies to watch his daughter, Sophia, swinging on a swing outside. He notices an axe stuck in lumber behind her. Mercedes says they can use all the firewood they want because it gets frigid at night. She gets excited, not believing she is hosting her favorite writer. When she told her daughter about it, the girl almost fainted. She says she can bring her to the house, a proposal Valeria welcomes. Mercedes informs the couple a storm is being forecast for tonight, but starting from tomorrow, they should have sunny days. We learn Julian is in rehab due to having had a hard year. He suffered a nervous breakdown. Mercedes hopes he is doing better now and should keep writing about his book villain, Scorpio. Once the homeowner leaves, Julian says she speaks non-stop. It is unbearable to him. Valeria tells him not to be mean, for Mercedes considers him her favorite writer. Interestingly, he comments she has bad taste. We see the man is already sitting at his typewriter to write. He walks into the washroom to see his wife showering. For an unknown reason, he gets drawn to the shower to clear some fog on the glass. This makes Valeria tell him there is another bathroom in the house. His phone shows him he received a missed call from Marcos. Out of the shower, Valeria says the house is better than how it looks in the pictures. That is usually the opposite of how things are. Julian says he promised Sophia he would take her to the lake. Later, he looks at their baby and cries. He puts the baby in a crib before noticing a mirror in the corner that he looks at quite strangely. The next scene has him at the lake with his daughter. The place is decorated with myriads of red leaves on the ground and the trees. A truer sight of autumn would be hard to find. They see a toad, and Sophia asks if her father can take it. He chases the amphibian, causing his daughter to laugh. Upon collecting it, Julian presents it to her. He asks if she wants to kiss it for the toad to turn into a prince. Sophia wants to bring it home. As Julian holds it, he squeezes the toad for an unknown reason. The girl notices this and asks what he is doing. After he drops the toad, Sophia says he took its life. At this unfortunate moment, rain starts to pour. The good father puts his coat over his daughter prior to walking her to their rented house. In there, Julian feeds the fireplace with wood. He looks at the bookshelf to see his published books are there also. The serious writer has written 10 of them. He looks at the one titled The Scorpion's Demise. Soon he gets a phone call from Marcos and this time answers it. Marcos received confirmation that Julian is the star guest at the Barcelona Book Fair. He asks if he can confirm Julian's presence at the event. But Julian refuses to do book fairs this year. Once Marcos says the publishing house won't like it if Julian doesn't go, the latter replies he does not care. Marcos met with producers who say they have a release date for the television series based on Julian's books. It will be in the first week of May. Marcos says Julian has to finish the last book of the saga. We learn they have not published anything in 2 years. The call suddenly ends because of the storm. As he is showering, he gets images. He comes to his family and Valeria says he looks like a new person. Julian says he needed that shower. When Sophia says she does not like it, Julian asks her, what is the ugly thing she is creating? She is putting together a house on the floor with her mom. She calls him mean for what he said. Julian says the house looks like a prison. Valeria asks if he took his pill, to which he answers he did not. He swears in front of his daughter, and the girl tells him to use a softer word. We see him toss a pill in the trash. During dinner, the storm causes the lights to go out. Julian finds the power panel that he opens with a pocket knife. Valeria says he keeps bashing Marcos, yet he gave Julian his favorite object. Since the lights can't be fixed, Julian learns it is a power outage rather than a short circuit. It isn't a problem for Valeria, for she feels like a part of nature. This allows Sophia to remember what happened at the lake. She says her dad does not like nature due to having taken a toad's life. Julian defends himself by saying the toad was already half deceased. However, his daughter insists he took the creature's life. Valeria asks if he is insane for committing such an act in front of Sophia. In the next scene, the family eats with lit candles. A thunder strike scares Sophia, and her father tries to scare her further, but she says he makes her laugh instead. She stands to look out the window and sees someone quickly running by. Soon a knock arrives at the door, prompting Valeria to wonder if it is Mercedes. She thinks the homeowner could have come to fix the power outage. Thus they walk to the door, asking who is there, but they don't get a response. While they look out the window, they hear the front door open. Slowly approaching it, the parents see muddy footprints in the house that lead to a scared lady on the floor. Afterward, she is sitting on the couch with a blanket on. Julian brings her a cup of hot tea. She is shivering as she holds it. Once they learn her name is Anna, Valeria asks how they can help her. Anna just stares ahead in shock and says they need to call the police. Julian wants to know what she is running away from. The lady replies it is from her husband, who she says her son. Now she fears he is going to do the same to her. Julian decides to go outside to get reception so he can call the police. Out there, he manages to call the emergency number and attempts to report a homicide. Alas, the bad reception concludes the call. He finds bloody clothes on the ground. When he collects it, he hears his daughter scream in fear. Hence, he rushes back into the house to learn Sophia's scream was the result of her seeing a mouse. He scolds the girl for her screaming, which awakened the baby. He informs his wife of what happened outside and hopes the phone call was traced. He also whispers that he found something. Left alone with Anna, Julian asks the stranger why her husband lost his mind. She takes her time before she answers, when her husband told her their child was not his. Yet she claims she doesn't know the truth either. Julian asks if she truly does not know, or if she does not want to admit it. Not buying her answer, he asks how long she wanted to hide this. Until the day her husband realized, she says. Later, Julian is talking to Valeria about what he learned, and she calls the husband a psycho. Soon they hear Anna singing, which brings the couple to her. She is holding their baby while singing to him. He was asleep with her, but upon being given to his mother, the baby wakes up crying. Anna asks if the problem could be parasites in the baby. Julian says the doctor told them the problem is with the boy's teeth. Anna draws near to whisper to him that the child has worms. Moving along, Julian takes a pill this time. Valeria says they should go to the police once it stops raining. Looking out the window, she observes a car arriving. They all see a man exit it and walk to the house. He bangs on the door, calling out to Anna. He knows she is in there. The man keeps banging, being angry. Julian finally yells, "There is no Anna in this house." However, the man breaks through the door. Julian tells him to be calm and the police will come in a short time. Valeria says he already took Anna's son's life. She wants to know what else he wants. Confused, the stranger asks what she is talking about. He claims not to have taken the life of anyone. According to him, Anna is the one who did. He adds that she is an insane person who fabricates lies. She was in a psychiatric hospital. Julian tells him what Anna told Julian. The man looks at Julian for some time before he says he's not an assassin. This makes Julian present the bloody clothes and ask what it is. As the stranger holds it, he cries. He says he should have followed the trace of Anna's phrase that she repeated. The phrase is that the baby had worms in his stomach. After he says she killed the baby in the woods, he angrily yells her name. Valeria rushes to the baby stroller to see her son is missing. Of course, she believes Anna took him. Now Julian is outside in the rain, yelling out to Anna. He hears the cries of a baby. He yells the baby is fine and she should not do anything to him. He sees a small shack that he enters. Anna is there with his son. She says the baby is suffering a lot because he is full of little worms. But Julian says his son is fine. The reason for his crying is that he wants to be with his mother. He even says he won't report Anna to the police for this. Not listening to the worried man, Anna says the child will stop suffering and gets ready to bring the knife down on him. Thankfully, this is a nightmare Julian awakens from. Valeria asks if he had a nightmare, to which he replies it was worse than that. It was more real than a nightmare. He heads to the baby stroller to see his son is not there. This injects him with panic, so he rushes upstairs with Valeria to see the baby lying safely in the crib. He tells his wife that Anna took her son's life. He adds what he learned from his nightmare, that she escaped from a psychiatric hospital and finished her son due to her thinking he had worms. Valeria says it was his dream, yet he declares he never dreamed anything that real. Every minute of it felt like reality. Once she says some pills can cause such vivid dreams, he counters that he took those pills for a good while and never experienced anything like what he did. Soon he realizes his pocket knife is not with him. Thus he goes to their guest, telling her to give him his knife. Although she says she took nothing from him, Julian says she did. He demands she give it back if she doesn't want him to frisk her. Anna swears on her son that she never stole anything from him. This prompts him to lean closer to ask if she is sure her husband took the life. Anna stands to firmly say she is sure. Hearing this argument, Valeria approaches them to save Anna from the pressing Julian. She tells him to return to their world, but he wants to know where his pocket knife is. When a car arrives, Anna says not to let its driver inside. Julian's nightmare involved Anna's husband whilst Anna came before that. A man exits the car and yells out to Anna. Julian tells his wife to watch her. The man bangs on the door again, saying not to hide Anna. He yells she is dangerous. He keeps turning the door handle, making Julian unlock the door for Anna's husband to enter. His demeanor changes as he calmly asks where Anna is. Julian says he knows what happened, and they are watching her. The man simply walks past him to see Anna. Coming to her, he tells her she was always lucky. However, her luck ends today. He also says what she did was sinister. She cries how he could do what he did to their son. In turn, he asks how could she take his life. He means himself. He mentions a traitor and Anna says she enjoyed that the traitor gave her a son. The lady yells for him to take her life. This gives her husband all the incentive to choke her against the wall. Trying to rescue Anna, Valeria slams the stranger with a flashlight. Julian tells the man to forgive his wife, but he slams Julian down. This results in his ear starting to ring. Much worse is that the man cuts Valeria's neck. Julian begs his wife not to leave him. The badness keeps piling with him, hearing Sophia yelling that a man is in her room with a knife. At this moment, he wakes up a second time, lucky to see his wife being alive and unharmed. She says he knows what he has to do when he can't rest well. He has to take another half of a pill. Julian goes to the washroom to collect himself. He remembers the awful ending of his second nightmare. Angered by it, he cracks the mirror with his punch. The next scene has him taking the baby and saying something bad will happen if they stay at the house. Valeria says he is in no condition to drive, yet he is certain something terrible will happen. Regarding Valeria's concern for Anna, he says the lady stays at the house. Anna pleads for them not to leave her alone. She slams on the car window where Julian sits prior to yelling he is a coward. She also yells that her husband will take her life. As the family is riding away, Anna yells Julian will burn in hell for being an assassin. Valeria worries they will pay for what they did. Julian thinks this is their best option because they left Anna the house and will notify the police. Alas, an oncoming car causes Julian to swerve into a tree. They hardly traveled any distance in addition to Sophia having damaged her arm. Julian exits the car to walk to the other car whose driver didn't drive off. Looking inside shows him an empty vehicle. Once he turns around, he sees Anna's husband charging at him. It was his car. The man presses Julian against the car and takes his pocket knife to stab his leg. He goes inside Julian's car. All he hears are the screams of his family. Fortunately, this is the third nightmare he awakens from. This time, he notices a partial scorpion tattoo on Anna's back. He takes out his knife, prompting his wife to ask what he plans to do with it. He leaves the house and takes the axe he saw earlier. Valeria goes outside too, asking what he's going to do with this bigger weapon. She wants him to realize he is sick. Sophia also appears, so he yells for them to go back into the house. Subsequently, we see Anna's husband driving. Julian walks on the road with the axe, and the man stops the car several feet in front of him. Julian provokes him to exit the car with insults. Since the man isn't doing that, Julian runs at the car to slam the front window with the axe. Soon Sophia comes to tell her dad he won. The maniac in the car drives toward the girl, but Julian saves her. He runs to the driver's side of the car to slam his axe through the window, hacking at the man. He leaves the car in a severely wounded state and falls. When Julian draws near, the man grabs him, saying it is Julian who is responsible. This makes him remember his book character, Scorpio. Afterward, he returns to the house, where he slowly ascends the stairs. He enters a room to hear Valeria say to someone that Julian has not written a single page. She hopes he gets started tomorrow. She adds, "This is a nightmare," and she wants to tell him the truth. Julian hears her tell whoever she is talking to that she loves this person. Once he opens the washroom door, he sees his wife showering. She clears the fog off the glass and reveals herself as none other than Anna. She tells Julian what his wife said at the start of the film. There is another bathroom in the house. He looks at her phone to see himself with Anna on the lock screen. He also sees she was talking to Marcos. She leaves the shower and Julian says he thought he finally became a father. Anna says she did not plan this. They just fell in love. Her with Marcos. She feels horrible for doing it. However, she thinks she and Julian are not a normal couple. They should not pretend they have a normal relationship. All Julian can respond with is by stabbing his real wife, Anna. He follows this by approaching their baby. As he tries to take him, Anna stabs him from behind. He falls before she does the same. In the next scene, he wakes up in a hospital. We switch to Anna walking in its hallway. She feels she has to see him for the last time so she can leave all this behind. Anna stands behind the glass that separates her from the patient, Julian. A doctor is with her, informing Anna of the man's serious psychological condition. She says Julian insists he did not take anyone's life. Since he entered the hospital, he got stuck in a circular nightmare, in which he projects himself as the hero who tries to save his family. We learn he is truly a drawer instead of a writer. From his drawings, the doctors deduced that in his subconscious, he wants to change what happened to rid himself of his guilt. His lie goes on for some time, until he relives the crime exactly how it happened. That is always when he awakens, with deep anguish and anxiety. We see he drew a picture of a girl kissing a frog at the lake. He drew it for the doctor's daughter. The doctor happens to be Valeria, whom Julian imagined to be his wife. He asks her who came to visit her. Due to the doctor not answering, he gets angry. It prompts him to break the glass with a chair. He walks toward the women, telling Anna he was overwhelmed with emotion once he learned she was alive. He claims to still love her, yet he begins to choke her against the wall, just like his imaginary character did at the house. Thankfully, several orderlies arrive to take him off her. While Anna and Valeria are leaving, Julian yells that Anna took his life first. Soon another doctor appears to inject him. She is Mercedes. With that, we return to the opening scene of the film. The couple arrives at the house of Mercedes. It makes sense that her injection resets the entire nightmare to be relived continuously in her house.